Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. The Bisons are 7-0 after Saturday night's 63-17 victory over Southeastern Oklahoma, and a very impressive victory for the 7th-ranked Bisons now. And, Coach, because that's a good Southeastern Oklahoma team that we saw on Saturday night, they got out to a 17-14 lead over your ball club, and then the second quarter happened, and your football team for the second week in a row had a tremendous second quarter.
We did, Billy. Maybe we just need to start with the second quarter. Yeah, I think that's a combination of a lot of different things. Being extremely opportunistic with the breaks that we got, really good execution on offense, defense, and special teams. And if we can continue that kind of play, obviously we'd like to sustain that through 4 quarters. But I'm really pleased with the production that we've gotten in the second quarter of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and a lot of big plays in that second quarter. You talked about, I thought the defense set it up. We saw a couple of big interceptions there in the second quarter.
Right.
And then obviously the Corey Bassett 69-yard return, a punt return for a touchdown that really put the exclamation point on the half.
Right, that was icing on the cake. To get an opportunity to do that to begin with, that's a reflection of the good defense that we played. You know, we got to stop. We forced them to punt. And, you know, we just been that far away all year long from breaking a punt return, and it was great to see Corey get that little crease. And then, of course, he has fantastic speed, and he was able to take it to the house. And when you go in 49-17, then obviously you've got all the momentum in the world, and then you want to come back out the second half and maintain that, and we were able to do that.
You talked about focus last week when I talked to you, and I think you had to be happy with your team's focus, because it wasn't as if you had 49-17 of a mediocre football team. That's an excellent football team.
No doubt about it, and you could tell by their first quarter that they had against our defense, which I believe is as good a defense as there is in the country in Division II. They've got some talented players on offense. Their offensive line does a great job. I think they have a great scheme, and those 2 backs are fantastic. And the fact that we were able to hold those guys to 41 yards in the second half is an indication of how well we adjusted and responded to their good play. So really, really proud of that.
All right, we have a lot of highlights to look at with the Bison scoring 63 points in the game on Saturday night. But before we get to those highlights, let's look at the sights and sounds before the game and getting ready for the contest on Saturday night on the grounds of Harding University.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. Again, the Bisons won Saturday night 63-17, and we had a shootout to begin the football game as we look at first quarter highlights, and it was up and down the field with the Bisons and Southeastern Oklahoma as Harding will get the football to begin the game and put together a very solid drive to start the evening.
This is Damon Thompson with that, they tried to sky kick it, and he did a great job of making a couple of guys miss, and we start off with the ball in their territory, and we open with a toss to Zach, and that's converting a first down. We come back and we run the triple option. We get the ball pitched to Zach. He's got great blocking out in front of him. I think that was a 25-yard run that ended up with us inside the 10. This is the quarterback follow, and Park saw it open to the outside and followed his blocking in a great way, and there's our first touchdown.
And that broke Snake Dixon's all-time rushing record as far as touchdowns, so now Park Parish has more than any Bison.
And that's a strong statement.
Yes, it is.
This was a great run by them. That's Ronnie Green, who's one of the best backs in our conference, and he hit a little crack, and he can really go. And, of course, we're not used to seeing that. And then they come right back with an onside kick and kind of caught us off guard there and retained the ball and got another possession. And we have a busted coverage, and now we're looking at being down 14-7. And, of course, this is not something that we're used to at all. But it's good for our football team to face adversity like that. There's no question about it. And as we said earlier, I'm just super happy with the way we responded.
I thought maybe the most impressive thing, they tried to catch you offside or catch you off guard a little bit right there, but it went out of bounds and the Bisons get it. But I thought the way that your team handled that, coach, and bounced back was outstanding.
It was, and there was no panic. We felt like we were going to get things taken care of, and our coaches kept their cool, their composure on the sideline too, and made our adjustments, and those adjustments turned out to be really good.
That was converting a big fourth down before this touchdown right here.
Right. We turned off, we handed the ball to Michael on the belly trap. Michael had a fantastic evening the other night. He just ran with authority and really pleased with his play. That's John Aaron Howell with a great perimeter tackle. Their perimeter screen game was really good, and they get the ball down inside our territory. We hold them, force them to a field goal. They convert it. 17-14, that's the last points they scored.
Yeah, and the way the game was going at that point, though, that felt like a win to just hold them to a field goal.
No question about it. And they kicked the ball to Corey, and when I saw him get the ball at about the 30, I thought, he is gone. But you look at that, we got the ball again inside their territory on the 41-yard line. And we run the toss to Eric Kelly. You can see Zach Shelley out in front blocking for him along with the rest of our team. And then this was an absolutely beautiful catch by Andrew Dather.
And that was on third down.
Right. And that was the go-ahead touchdown. And as we said, we were never stopped from that point forward pretty much.
Arthur Akers on a tackle right there.
Now this is the reverse to Grant Kimberlin, and you can see that burst right there, how quickly he ran by just about everybody on their football team. And that was a great call by our offensive coaches, and Grant used his speed with good blocking. I think that put us up 28-17.
Right, 74 yards on that touchdown run.
Good pressure again by our defensive football team. Hand off to Michael Latu on the first phase of the triple option, and Michael hits a crease, breaks a tackle. 42 yards later, he's in the end zone, and we're up 35-17.
You felt pretty good about it at that point, but little did we know the Bisons were not finished in the first half score.
Exactly. Man, what a great play by Benjamin Shields. Benjamin has great hands, and he was able to get that pick, and then we follow it up with another one by Dylan Hampton. Dylan's a defensive end, redshirt freshman, and great job by Dylan of being where he needed to be. We turn around and hand the ball off to Michael on the belly trap. And this was one of the best runs of the evening, even though it was only 9 yards. Breaks 2 tackles, dives into the end zone, and that's a 9-yard touchdown run, and we're up 42-17.
And this is very late in the first half, and you'll force Southeastern Oklahoma to do something they did not want to have to do, and to punt it only 5 seconds on the scoreboard.
Right. Yeah, I knew this was going to be the last play of the half, so when I saw that Corey had a little crease there, I was hoping he'd get all the way to the end zone because I knew we wouldn't have a shot. But look at that run and that speed. Look at the guys working out in front of him. He had a great block by T.J. Winslow. There's Terrence Williams working to get that final block to get him into the end zone. And with the extra point, that puts us up 49-17. And that's a tremendous second quarter of football, as you said.
Yeah, 49-17 at the half. And I thought, and I can't say it enough, how impressed I was with the interception by Benjamin Shields. I walked into your office when the game was over, and I said, what a play.
That was a turning point in that football game. They were driving, and as we said, we were back and forth with them. And that play by him, followed by the 74-yard reverse to Grant Kimberlin, kind of turned the tide in our favor for good, I felt like, and we were able to capitalize on some more opportunities the rest of that quarter and go in at halftime up 49-17.
So the Bisons at the half, 49-17. In our highlights, and stay with us, we'll come back and look at the third and fourth quarter right after this.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Back on Harding football with Ronnie Huckeba. The Bisons ranked 7th in the latest AFCA poll that came out earlier today, and we are at halftime of our segment right now as far as our highlight segment. And we go to the third quarter, Coach, and your football team, I thought the focus in the second half was very good after you're up 49-17.
You know, Billy, we mentioned earlier that we held them to 41 yards in the second half, and that's a tremendous job against a very talented offensive football team. And we were able to look at the swarming defense there. That's what I'm talking about. Great job by our guys. And as we said, our coaches made tremendous adjustments. There's a sack by Trayvon Bigelow.
And it's a big one because he joins Josh Aldridge as the only Bisons to record 20 career sacks in the NCAA era.
Absolutely. Trayvon is having a fantastic year. That was the midline option. And we go play action back to Andrew Dather for his second catch of the night. Park put the ball right on the money. We got the ball inside the 20. And there goes Park again on a rambling midline option run, and he breaks a couple of tackles and gets into the end zone, and now we're up 56-17, and that's it for Park for the night.
Yeah, well, and I saw the handshakes after because what a warrior he is.
Absolutely. Tough guy, and you know we're swarming on defense still, and now Terrence is in the ball game at quarterback operating the show and doing a great job. That's Eric Simmons with the toss, and we continue to move the ball all the way down the field. Very pleased with the way we executed. That's Michael Latu, who's carrying the entire pile with him to get a first down. That was a great run by Terrence, but he gets held up there at the end, and man, those guys are great at stripping the ball out, which makes ball security even that much more of a priority when you play them. And that was the only turnover we've had in our last 3 football games. We're going to continue to work really hard. Sam Blankenship with that tackle in the backfield. Sam had a great night for the Bisons.
He sure did. At one point, one series, he made 2 tackles and then hit the quarterback on third down.
Right. We got the ball running east and west, and when that happens, you got good speed on defense. You're able to corral the back. We force the quarterback to step up in the pocket there. We've got good coverage. And force a punt. Got good pressure on the punt right there. and another possession offensively for our football team. Hand off to Romar Reeds. That's the belly trap, and right there I thought he's gone, but he did have a guy that had an angle on him, but that was a 50-yard run by Romar.
Yeah. We're obviously into the fourth quarter now.
That was a great job by Terrence. We got a mesh charger, and he hit us in the backfield, and he was able to step around it, convert the first down. That was a really, really good play. Hand the ball off to Romar again. Get in the end zone, add on the extra point, and that makes it 63-17. That's the end of our scoring for the night. Still running trying to run the clock out, and that was the double option. Terrence makes a great run on that play, and we toss the ball to Brandon Gates. Good blocking out in front of Brandon, and he gets around the corner and has another good game, and then again, our best formation, which is victory, and that's a good feeling to get a win against a quality opponent like Southeast Oklahoma.
He had to put up 492 yards of total offense, and again, I thought the stat that I just kept thinking about all day yesterday was the 41 yards allowed after we saw very early how good Southeastern Oklahoma is offensively. I thought the second half to allow 41 yards was outstanding.
It was, and that's a tribute to our defensive coaches and our defensive players and their ability to see what was happening out on the field, make the appropriate adjustments, and end up pretty much keeping them under control the entire second half. Really after the first quarter. The first quarter for them was outstanding. I mean, they really moved the ball against us well, got that extra possession with the onside kick. But after the first quarter was over, our defensive guys just really responded in a great way. And you and I talked about this after the ball game. So many times this year, our defense has just been stifling, and maybe we struggle a little bit offensively to get untracked, and they've given us time to catch our breath, make our adjustments, and then come back out and take control of the football game. The same thing was true in the reverse Saturday night. Defense came out, strong opponent. They had some things going, but they never really stopped us offensively, and I think it made everybody on our football team feel like, okay, we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay. We're going to score a lot of points tonight. We're moving the ball well. And that kind of helps you relax a little bit, maybe on defense, and play a little bit better.
And I think that's something as fans that we can't take for granted is how your team responded. Down 14-7, down 17-14, had times where you could have stepped back a little bit. They get the onside kick.
Right.
But your football team never batted an eye and never showed any signs of wavering at all.
Well, I don't think this group is going to panic. We've got tremendous leadership. They've responded in a very mature way all year long, and that's part of football. I mean, you're not going to go out there and roll everybody that you play up, as obvious, with our game with OBU. We had to win that ball game in the fourth quarter, and that was good for us. Right. The first quarter of this football game was good for us because we got down, we had to respond, we had to keep our composure, and again, as I said, very happy with the maturity of this football team and the way they respond to adversity. That's critical in making a championship run.
And the Bisons now 7-0 as Ronnie Huckebe's football team wins on Saturday night. Stay with us. We're going to come back and hear from Grant Kimberlin after the break.
I never felt all that special. But in the wake of an earthquake, we can all do something. When donating goods, it's hard to know what's needed. So now it's my turn to help. Aid workers can spend me locally, where I can help save lives. Someone is doing better because of me. Together, we made that happen.
Sir, could you step over here, please? Is there anything you want to tell me?
Like what?
Like maybe you're out to protect the environment?
Give scholarships to kids?
Fight blindness?
Help the elderly?
Feed the hungry? Well, I only asked because you got a little lion in you.
See? Right there.
Right next to whatever that other thing is.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Ronnie Huckebe. After the game, we were able to catch up with Bison Grant Kimberlin, who had that huge run on that big 74-yard reverse for a touchdown. Here's Grant Kimberlin.
Well, we were lined up in our formation, and
they were up in man or something like that, and I saw them shift, and I saw the play call, so I knew something was going to happen. And when they shifted back to a different defense, I had a feeling something big was going to happen. And coach called the right play, right time, and the blocks were set up away. And then I got the ball and the perfect play and just took off. And I saw a few guys coming, but I knew my guys had big blocks and took it all the way.
Well, when you're out in front of everybody like that, is your thought just get to the end zone, or is your thought, I wonder who's behind me?
A little of both. I wonder who is trying to catch me, but at the same time I'm looking to that end zone because I don't want anybody to catch me, so I'm going to get as fast as I can and get that end zone.
You were a slot receiver in junior college, and then you've switched to slot back here, which is a little different. What's that transition been like?
It's been different. More receiver, we were sticking and running routes, but once I came here, the older slots, they took me under their wing and taught me everything they know. Eric Kelly, Zach Shelley, Eric Simmons, Brandon, and Colby, even the guys that are my age, they brought me along like I was one of them, and so I contribute a lot of my success or anything that I do to them because they taught me everything.
And right there at the end of that celebration, Dr. McClarty came in for the prayer. I know that's special for you to have.
You betcha.
Have him there with you guys.
You betcha.
And because it was a special night, along with Dr. McClarty, obviously he's always there, but to come right down there with you guys, 7-0, first time a Bison football team can say that 7-0.
And that's a big deal, Billy. But we're trying our best not to get caught up in that with. Because as we have said, we've continued to say this, every week is another season, and you have to take it that way. If you get caught up with, okay, here we are, we're ranked this, or we got this record, then you lose focus on the prize. And the prize is, number one, we want to honor God with the things that we're doing, with the way we're playing football, with the way we're conducting ourselves. That's the most important thing, and everything else is secondary to that. But number two is every week is such an opportunity and such a blessing as far as getting to play this game with your brothers, with the guys that you love, with the guys that you bleed and sweat with on the practice field and during the off season. And you don't want to ever take a single game for granted because they're just few and far between. I was discussing this with one of our players the other day. 40 years ago was my senior year at Harding. And I can still remember the sights and the sounds and the smells of that senior year just like it was yesterday. And at one point in my football career, I thought, man, this thing is just dragging by. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's over with. And it seems like yesterday we were reporting August the 10th for the beginning of this football season. Here we are mid-October, and we played 7 ball games. And we just want to make sure that we're, for one thing, giving every opponent that we play their due respect and realize how fortunate we are to get to play this game and have the healthy bodies that allow us to play this game, and to play it at a place like Harding University is just such a tremendous opportunity and blessing. We're not going to take a game for granted. And as long as we continue that approach, and I'm very proud of our coaches and our football team for the way that they've bought into that, as long as we continue that approach, then we got a chance to continue to be successful. But if you get ahead of yourself, that's when you got problems.
All right, we want you to stay with us. When we come back, we will get a question from a fan for Coach, and we'll look ahead to this week's opponent, East Central, after this break.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
We were drawn here from all 50 states and more than 50 different nations. We are 7,000 students of languages, arts, sciences, and life. As diverse as our origins and as different as our backgrounds are, it's remarkable how much we have in common. here in this place of faith, learning, and living. Harding University.
Back on Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. It's time now for us to get a question for Coach Huck from a fan.
Hey, Coach Huck, this is Rhett Shepard from Little Rock, Arkansas. I was wondering kind of what the reaction of the sideline was after being down 17-14 in the first half, and what kind of defensive changes you made after being down 17-14.
Good question. Honestly, the reaction on the sideline was one of, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's don't panic. You know, they got a good football team. Let's talk about what they're doing, get the response, the feedback from the players, and then make the appropriate adjustments. And, you know, Coach Simmons, Coach Tribble, Coach Moat, all of our defensive coaches, you know, I could hear what was going on with them over there, and they were doing a fantastic job of getting the information that they needed from the players so we can make the appropriate adjustments, and they did a great job of it. As we mentioned, 41 yards in the second half. That's making the right kind of adjustments, and so proud of them for the way they did.
And now 2 challenges this week. East Central, obviously, is number 1, and playing on a Thursday night. It's a short week. You'll travel out to Ada on Wednesday.
Right. Sometimes a break in your schedule is a good thing to just kind of get you out of your routine, which is obviously when we're playing on a Saturday, we have basically the same routine every single week. It's a little bit different if you're on the road than it is when you're at home. But because this is a Thursday night game, we're going to leave on Wednesday, play Thursday night. So we have to, normally Monday is our players' day off. So we're working today, and we'll be working again tomorrow. This week will be a little bit more mental than it will be physical. We're not going to bang on each other a whole lot this week, but we're going to try to do a great job of giving our guys the looks that they need to see in practice. Spend a lot of time in the film room, and hopefully being ready to play East Central on Thursday. East Central is a very dangerous football team. Their record does not indicate how good I believe they are. You know, they've had some bad luck this year, and they have always done a great job against us. Coach McCarty is a really good football coach, and his staff is a good staff. They always have talented players, and this is one of those kind of things that we want to make sure that we, as I said earlier, we give them their due respect, and we intend to do that and work really hard so we can play our best on Thursday.
All right, Coach, always great to be with you. I'll see you on Thursday out in Ada.
Thanks, Billy.
All right, that's all for our time this week on Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. Don't forget we will have the radio broadcast 5:45 with a kickoff on Thursday night at 6 o'clock at Ada, Oklahoma. We'll see you next time.